This video is brought to you by Sailrite. Visit Sailrite.com for all your project supplies, tools, and instructions. In this video tutorial, we'll show you how to make your very own bias cut piping as seen on this cushion. Cindy is going to show us how to make continuous bias piping, which will be used on this chair that she is reupholstering for yet another free Sailrite video coming soon. Here's Cindy.
We're ready to cut the cording that goes around this piece, and we want to cover it with the same fabric. So we're going to cut some bias strips of our fabric, and bias, we'll put it at a 45-degree angle. This cutter really makes this easy to do. Make sure you use a cutting mat underneath.
The first cut of fabric will be discarded.
I cut these strips at 1 3/4. And I'm going to fold this back on itself only so it fits on this cutting board.
Simply keep cutting out strips until you have the length you need to accomplish your project. The clear acrylic ruler is perfect for making accurate cuts, as you can see through it nicely.
I'm cutting this on the bias because it'll go around this curve nicer and smoother. And it also makes the fabric so the edges do not ravel when it's cut on the bias. When I seam this together, I want 2 bias cuts. I'm going to lay one on top of the other, right sides up, and cut another 45-degree angle here. Then I'm going to remove the ruler and flip them over like that. And I'm only going to put this pin in to show you where I'm going to stitch. I'm going to take it out and turn it the other way. I'm going to stitch from this, where these angles meet, to right here where those angles meet. But I want my pins to be this way. So I'm going to do the same thing to seam the whole thing together. A right side up and a right side up. And a 45-degree angle. And take the top one and flip it over so you have right sides together. And pin it. Now I'm going to stitch this together from this angle to this angle. And I'm going to use a fairly small stitch on this. Use this cotton cording, and all I need to do is lay it in the center and fold it over, no pins. There's a cording tunnel in this foot that's going to carry this cording through. let the machine do the work on this, it will make a very nice corded edge for you. All I have to do is fold the fabric in half, and then the cording does the rest of the work, or the foot does the rest of the work. When you get to a seam, just take your fingers and press it open. That eliminates the bulk at that seam.
You may not notice, but Cindy adjusted the stitch length so it is sewing a 5mm to 6mm length for this step. Here we are using the EZE TC80 staple gun from Sailrite to staple the bias piping or cording we just made onto the plaque for the front of an upholstered armchair. Notice that the piping cord easily takes a curve well without wrinkling because it was cut on the bias. Next, we'll show using the bias piping / cording on the bottom edge of a chair to give it style.
And use the cardboard tack strip because it'll give a nice firm edge on the cording. And start a little bit back from the end of it so that you can finish this end off when you come back around. I'm going to trim this off about 4 inches longer so I can overlap it. Now when I get to the end where the ends meet, I'm going to open up one side of my stitching. So I can pull it back away from the cording, and then I'm going to snip the cording off even with the other cording right here. And I'm going to fold that back and nest one inside the other so that you have a nice clean edge.
Next up, we'll show sewing the piping to a cushion's plate for that same chair.
Since the cording was cut on the bias, it should go nicely around this corner without making any snips in it. And when I come up to this corner, I'm going to snip again.
This is a 90-degree outside turn, so it will have to be snipped to make the cording or piping's flange sit flat. Coming up next, we'll show you how to join the two ends of the piping together to make a gorgeous transition. The process is exactly the same as what was done when we were stapling the piping or cording to the bottom of the chair.
Now when I get up close to where I started, I'm going to go about 3 inches beyond the end of the other one, cut it off, and open up the stitching. So that I can pull that back and cut the welting off even with the first part. And then I'm folding that on the bias. You can fold it on the bias or you can fold it back straight over itself. Folding it on the bias leaves less bulk right at this point. And then just wrap it around and finish stitching this row.
Here's a list of the materials and tools we used in this video. Be sure to be watching the Sailrite website or the Sailrite YouTube channel for the full video coming soon, showing how Cindy reupholstered this entire chair from beginning to end. For more free videos like this, be sure to check out the Sailrite website or subscribe to the
pretty
Sailrite
cozy.
YouTube channel. It's your loyal patronage to Sailrite that makes these free videos available. Thanks for your loyal support. I'm Eric Grant, and from all of us here at Sailrite, thanks for watching.